Gauss or divergence theorem. The statement of the Gauss or divergence theorem is the surface integral of the normal component of a vector function f taken around a closed surface S is equal to the integral of the divergence of vector f taken over the volume V enclosed by the surface S. Mathematically, this can be written in this way, or in a very simple language we can write if V is the volume enclosed by a surface S and f is a vector function which is a continuous derivative within the volume, then the surface integral of the normal component of the vector function is equals to the volume integral of the divergence of vector function. Let's study Gauss theorem in more details. Consider a vector function f. It can be electric field or magnetic field or some other vector within a volume V. Let the volume V be enclosed or bounded by some surface S. Let us also consider the elementary volume of this spherical volume, and n cap be the normal component of the vector function f in this volume dV. If we see at large scale, then the top portion of this volume is nothing but the surface element ds, and the height of this volume is the normal component of the vector function. Therefore, we can write elementary volume per unit time is equals to the product of the vector function, normal component of the vector function, and ds. And this is nothing but the rate of flow or flux. We also know that the rate of flux or flow is given by the divergence of the vector function f within that volume dV. Therefore, we can write f dot n cap ds is equals to divergence f dV. Since this is the element ds and this is the element dV, so this part we are going to integrate with surface integration, and this part we are going to integrate with volume integration. Let us move to the proof part. So for the proof, we will consider some vector f within the volume V, and this volume is enclosed by some surface S, and let this be the coordinate x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Let the orthogonal projection of this volume be this on the xy plane, and let us name the upper hemisphere of the surface as S2 and lower hemisphere surface as the S1, and this let it be the region R. Let us consider an elementary surface area ds2 on the upper surface and ds1 on the lower surface. Let n1, n2 cap be the normal component of the ds2 and n1 cap be the normal component on the surface ds1. Similarly, we will draw elementary surface area in the region R and let its be normal component be k cap. We know that equation of a sphere is x square plus y square plus z square is equals to a square. So we can write simply z square is equals to a square minus x square plus y square, or z is equals to root over a square minus x square plus y square. Thus we see that z is a function of x and y. Here a is constant, so we can write z is equal to some function of x and y. Therefore, for the lower surface S1, we can write Z1 is equals to function F1 xy, and for the upper surface S2, we can write Z2 equals to function F2 xy. Let us assume that the vector F is equals to F1 I cap, F2 j cap, F3 k cap. Putting this value of the vector in the left hand side of the divergence theorem, which we have seen just now, we get this, and when we put the value of the vector f in the right hand side of the right hand side part of the divergence theorem, we get this. And this is further mathematical calculation, and finally we get this. So in this part, since we have taken the orthogonal projection on the xy plane, we are going to evaluate this last term of this equation. For this term and this term, we have to take the projection of this volume on the zx plane and zy plane. For example, suppose if you want to evaluate first this, that is with respect to dx. So it means we have to draw the projection of this volume on zy plane. Similarly, for the second term, which is the differentiation with respect to the y-axis, we have to take the orthogonal projection of this volume on the zx plane. Since we have taken our orthogonal projection on the xy plane, we are going to evaluate this last term of the equation. So let us evaluate. So here we can see it is the volume integration, that is the last term of that equation, and this can be written in this way, that is the surface integral of the region R. If you recall the figure, so this was the region R, and here we are going to do the surface integration, and also this region is equals to the equatorial region here, we can see. So that's why this, in place of this, we have written this. So surface integration of the region R, and we are taking the integration of the z-axis from z1 to z2, means from the lower hemisphere to the upper hemisphere. Now integration of the differentiation gives this, that is f3 xy z2, which is the upper limit, f minus f3 xy z1, which is the lower limit. And further we can write this, in place of z2 we have written f2 and z1 f1. From this we have written this. So let it be the equation 1. Now for the upper surface S2, we have the elementary surface, this ds2, and the elementary surface of the region are dx dy. Let the angle between them be del 2. The normal component to the ds2 is n cap, and the normal component to the dx dy is k cap. And the angle between them will be also del 2 by geometry. Also, if we take the projection of this elementary surface on the xy plane, then we are going to get dx dy, which is nothing but ds2 cos del 2. That's what we have written. If we take the dot product of n2 cap and k cap, we will get this, that is the magnitude of the n2 cap and k cap, and cos del 2, we know what is the magnitude of a unit vector, it's 1. So 1 dot 1 is equals to cos del 2, or finally cos del 2. So thus we can write finally dx dy equals ds2 cos del 2, or in place of cos del 2 we can write n2 cap dot k cap from here. Similarly, for the lower surface also we can do the same. Suppose this is the elementary surface of the lower surface ds1, and this is the elementary surface of the R region dx dy. This is the n1 cap and this is the k cap, and the angle between these two surfaces is del 1. Then what is the angle between the n1 cap and k cap? It is simply pi minus del 1. So thus we can write what? ds1, means this is the ds1 cos pi minus del 1. Cos pi minus del 1. Why I have written so? Because I have to take this angle, not this angle. I have to take the angle between the unit vectors. So thus we can write dx dy is equals to ds1 cos pi minus del 1. Again, from ASTC rule of the trigonometry, we can write it as minus cos del 1 ds1, and which can be further written as minus n1 cap k cap for cos del 1 and ds1. Therefore, we can write this term, that is f3xy f2 dx dy, is equals to this. What we are doing in this equation? We are simply substituting dx dy, what we have got for the upper hemisphere, and we are writing it here, n2 cap dot k cap ds2. This is what we are doing. Let it be the equation 2, and similarly we can write for the f3 xy f1 also. Here for the lower hemisphere we are substituting the dx dy value which we have got here. This, and let it be the equation 3. Substituting these equations in equation 1, we get this, and further we will get this when we will add them. Let it be the equation 4. Thus, in the same way, we can obtain for this term, and let it be the equation 5, and for this term also, and let it be the equation 6. Thus, adding equation 4, 5 and 6, we get this, and hence we can write that the volume integral of the divergence of the vector function is equal to the surface integral of the normal component of the vector. Hence, divergence theorem or Gauss theorem is proved. That's all.